Hey everyone, Zach here with Guy on a Computer Insights. So you're a CEO who thinks that cybersecurity is the IT guy's problem. Or maybe you're a board member who thinks that firewalls are actually made of fire. Cool. Today, we're talking supply chain cyber risk. The thing that can turn your company into a cautionary tale faster than you can say quarterly earnings call. Buckle up, because ignorance isn't bliss. It comes with million-dollar price tags. Let me paint you a picture of executive nightmares. That MSP attack in early 2025? Yeah, that wasn't some tech hiccup that IT handles with pizza and Red Bull. Stock prices dropped 8% in 48 hours. Customer acquisition costs went up 23% because, surprise, people don't like doing business with companies that can't keep their data safe. 3 companies lost $50 million in contracts because their clients decided, maybe we'll go with a vendor who doesn't have a habit of getting hacked. But here's my favorite stat. 60% of companies hit by major supply chain breaches go belly up within 6 months. So congratulations, you're not just running a business anymore. You're basically playing Russian roulette with shareholders' money every time you sign a vendor contract. Your competitors who aren't completely asleep at the wheel. They're out there winning contracts because they can actually prove they won't accidentally leak their clients' data. Wild concept, I know. Oh, so you thought this was just about losing money? Cute. Let me introduce you to your new best friends, personal liability and shareholder lawsuits. Remember Target's board getting sued after their 2013 breach? Yeah, individual directors face personal liability. Turns out, I don't know isn't a legal defense when you're supposed to be providing oversight. The SEC now wants cybersecurity disclosures within 4 business days. 4 business days. The legal standard has shifted from, did you prevent every possible breach, which is impossible, to, did you exercise a reasonable oversight? Translation, can you prove to a judge that you weren't completely negligent about cybersecurity governance? If your general counsel isn't briefing you quarterly on supply chain cyber risk, fire them. If your audit committee isn't reviewing vendor risks, wake them up, because we had no idea this could happen. Really plays poorly in depositions. Oh, you thought cybersecurity was expensive? Let me introduce you to the GDPR. It's Europe's way of saying, we're going to make your privacy failures hurt your wallet. Here's the deal. If any vendor in your supply chain touches EU personal data, GDPR applies to you. Period. It doesn't matter if you're based in Ohio and your vendor's in Texas. You're processing European data, Brussels has opinions about your business practices. The fines? Up to 20 million euros, or 4% of global revenue. Whichever makes you cry harder. And before you think, we'll just deal with it if it happens, let me share some fun facts. British Airways got hit with a £20 million fine. Marriott paid £99 million. These aren't rounding errors. These are, we need to explain to shareholders why our profits disappeared numbers. But here's the kicker. The GDRP doesn't care if it was your vendor's fault. When your third-party processor screws up, guess who gets the fine? Hint, it's not them. So, your vendor contracts better include data processing agreements that spell out exactly who's responsible for what. And my vendor said they'd handle it. It isn't a legal defense that impresses European regulators. Here's a radical idea. Maybe the people spending the money should decide how to spend the money. I know, revolutionary concept. Your IT department loves to throw around acronyms like NIST, ISO, 27001. But they're terrible at explaining why you should care. So let me translate it from tech bro to actual business language. NIST, the industry standard that cuts insurance premiums by 10% and is required for federal contracts. Price tag, between $50 to $200K annually. ROI, don't get laughed out of government bids. ISO 27001, it's the international we're not completely incompetent certificate. Opens doors in Europe and Asia. Costs between $100 to $300K to get certified. Its ROI, actually being able to compete globally without clients asking, but are you secure though? CIS controls, the quick wins that make you less of a sitting duck option. $25 to $75K annually, fastest payback, ROI, not being the lowest hanging fruit that hackers pick first. Here's the thing your CISO won't tell you. If they can't explain the business value in terms used to justify other investments, they probably don't understand it themselves. And if they don't understand the business impact, then why are they making these decisions? Your vendors aren't just service providers. They're potential sources of external crisis. Fun, right? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every vendor with access to your systems is basically a key to your castle that you handed to someone else. And then you probably forgot to ask if they're competent enough not to lose it. Smart executives, the ones who plan to set up a business next year, are treating vendor cybersecurity like vendor financial stability. You wouldn't want to partner with a company that's about to go bankrupt. So why would you partner with one that's about to get hacked? Put cybersecurity performance matrices in your vendor contracts. Require cyber insurance. Set breach notification deadlines. Treat this like the business risk that it actually is, not some technical checkbox IT handles. Budget 3 to 5% of your vendor spend on monitoring and risk management. Yes, that sounds expensive until you realize that one vendor-caused breach typically costs between 3 to 5% of your entire annual revenue. Math is fun. Okay, time for some uncomfortable truth-telling. Here's what you're going to do in the next 90 days, assuming you like your company to still exist. Days 1 through 30. Make your CISO present a supply chain cyber risk to the board. Not in tech speak, and how much money are we going to lose speak. If they can't do this, get a new CISO. Days 61 through 90. Start treating your top 10 vendors like the potential business risk that they are. Quarterly risk reviews. Executive oversight. Actual consequences for security failures. Budget-wise, plan for 1 to 2% of your revenue on supply chain cybersecurity. Yes, it's real money, but it's cheaper than explaining to shareholders why you're the next cautionary tale in someone else's cybersecurity presentation. Your competitors who figure this out first will eat you for lunch. Those who don't, well, they'll have plenty of time to think about it while updating their LinkedIn profiles. If you don't want to end up as someone else's case study, take the first step. Put cybersecurity on your board agenda this quarter. It's way cheaper than explaining to shareholders why your logo is suddenly starring in the breach of the week headlines. Next week, we're diving into something equally terrifying for executives. Subscribe if you want more brutally honest takes on cybersecurity that won't put you to sleep. And remember, in cybersecurity, paranoia isn't a bug, it's a feature. Thanks for watching.